Welcome to Trieste, a city unlike any other in Italy. For centuries, it was the main harbor of the Habsburg Empire, and a place where Italian, Austrian, as well as South Slavic cultures met, mixed, and created one of the most beautiful cities in the area. So, let's explore it. Located in Italy's northeastern corner, right on the border with Slovenia, Trieste has always been a crossroads of cultures. For more than 500 years, it belonged to the Habsburg Empire, serving as its most important seaport. And only after the First World War did it officially become part of Italy. And you can still see this fascinating blend of cultures and influences everywhere you look. We start our journey with one of the most beautiful and interesting places just outside the city. Welcome to Miramare Castle, one of the most beautiful castles in all of Italy. Built in the 19th century by the Habsburgs, it's a place you should not miss while in Trieste. To be more exact, it was built between 1856 and 1860 for Archduke Maximilian of Austria and his wife Charlotte of Belgium. Maximilian later even became Emperor of Mexico, but his reign ended tragically when he was executed in 1867. Today, you can explore the beautifully preserved royal apartments while enjoying panoramic sea views and strolling through the expansive botanical gardens surrounding the castle. Admission to the castle costs around 15 euros for adults, while the surrounding park is completely free and worth visiting even if you don't enter the museum. Leaving the castle behind, it's time to discover the heart of Trieste. The Canal Grande. Although many visitors compare it to Venice, Canal Grande has a character entirely its own. Created in the 18th century, it allowed merchant ships to reach the city center and quickly became the commercial heart of Trieste. Today, beautifully preserved historic buildings as well as cafes line both sides of the canal. Colorful boats gently float on the water, and it's honestly one of the city's most photogenic locations. Looking across the canal, it's impossible to miss the 5 blue domes of the Serbian Orthodox Church of St. Spyridon. Built in the 19th century for Trieste's growing Serbian merchant community, it reflects just how international this port city had become. Step inside and you'll find a richly decorated interior with colorful frescoes, gilded icons and an impressive iconostasis, making it one of the city's most beautiful religious buildings. Standing directly opposite is the Church of St. Anthony the Great, whose imposing neoclassical facade forms one of Trieste's most recognizable views. Construction began in the early 19th century to replace a smaller church that could no longer accommodate the city's growing population. Funnily enough, despite becoming one of Trieste's most recognizable landmarks, some locals have jokingly nicknamed it the city's ugliest church because of its plain exterior and its resemblance to the Pantheon of Rome rather than a traditional church. Whether you agree or not, its location at the end of the canal certainly makes it impossible to overlook. Just a few minutes away stands the Greek Orthodox Church of St. Nicholas. Built by Trieste's Greek community, which played an important role in the city's maritime trade, the church is another reminder of the many cultures that shaped Trieste over the century. Personally, this was my favorite out of the 3 churches. I really liked its elegant architecture and peaceful atmosphere, and if you have only time to visit one Orthodox church in the city, this would be my recommendation. These churches perfectly illustrate why Trieste feels so different from most Italian cities. Italian, Serbian, Greek, and many other communities all left their mark here, creating a fascinating cultural mix that still defines the city today. The same international spirit can also be found in one of Trieste's greatest passions: coffee. In fact, Trieste has the highest coffee consumption per capita in all of Italy, and its elegant cafes have been part of the city's culture for centuries. The city is also the birthplace of Illy, one of the world's most famous premium coffee brands, founded here in 1933 by Francesco Illy. So, if you're a coffee lover, Trieste is definitely a city worth adding to your bucket list. And if you'd like to visit the hometown of Illy's founder, be sure to check out my guide to Timișoara after this video. With our coffee in hand, it's time to head to what is without a doubt Trieste's most iconic landmark. Welcome to Piazza Unità d'Italia, the beating heart of Trieste. Open directly onto the Adriatic Sea, it is widely regarded as Europe's largest seafront square and is undoubtedly one of the most impressive squares in all of Italy. Surrounded by magnificent Habsburg-era palaces, elegant cafes, and historic government buildings, it's easy to see why this has been the city's political and social center for centuries. Personally, walking through the square reminded me a little bit of Vienna, especially the town hall, with its grand facade and neo-Renaissance architecture, which has a distinctly Habsburg feel to it, which you wouldn't expect in an Italian city. And just a few steps away, you can experience the square from an entirely different perspective. Stretching almost 250 meters into the Adriatic Sea, Molo Audace is one of the city's favorite places for a stroll. From here, you'll enjoy some of the best panoramic views of Trieste skyline, with Piazza Unità d'Italia behind you and the Adriatic stretching out in front. So, if you're visiting around sunset, this is easily one of the best photo stops in the entire city. But Trieste's story doesn't end along the waterfront. Climbing the streets behind the square takes us to the city's oldest quarter, where Roman ruins, medieval churches, and centuries of history await. Hidden among the modern buildings lies one of Trieste's oldest landmarks, the Roman Theater. Built during the 1st century AD, when Trieste was the Roman city of Tergeste, it could once seat several thousand spectators for theatrical performances. Another important landmark is Trieste Synagogue. Completed in 1912, it is one of the largest synagogues in Europe and reflects the significant role the Jewish community played in the city's commercial and cultural development. Unfortunately, it was closed during my visit, but even from the outside, its impressive architecture makes it worth a stop. Continuing through the old town brings us to the Church of Santa Maria Maggiore. Built by the Jesuits in the 17th century, its elegant Baroque facade and richly decorated interior make it one of Trieste's most beautiful churches. Just a short walk away stands the Arco Riccardo, one of the few surviving Roman monuments in Trieste. Dating back nearly 2000 years, it once formed part of the city's ancient defensive walls. From here, the streets become even steeper, as they lead to the highest point of the old town. But at the top, you'll find two of Trieste's most important landmarks standing side by side. And now we are here at the San Giusto Cathedral, one of the most beautiful places in Trieste. As you can see, it was built over the Roman ruins, dating back to the 6th century, but the current cathedral that you can see right now dates back to the 14th century. But it is even more impressive on the inside, so let's go and see it inside. Inside, you'll discover beautiful Byzantine mosaics, medieval frescoes, and an impressive rose window, while the peaceful atmosphere offers a welcome escape from the busy streets below. And best of all, entry to the cathedral is completely free. Standing right beside the cathedral is the Castle of San Giusto. Built by the Habsburgs between the 15th and 17th centuries, it once protected one of the empire's most important ports. Today, the castle rewards you with some of the best panoramic views over Trieste and the Adriatic Sea. Inside, you'll also find exhibitions showing medieval weapons and armory, as well as archaeological discoveries, including Roman artifacts uncovered around the city. Admission costs around €7 for adults and is well worth it, for both the history and the spectacular views. During my visit in Trieste, I stumbled upon the Church of San Giacomo Apostolo. Located in one of Trieste's oldest neighborhoods, it may not be as famous as San Giusto, but its atmosphere and local character make it worth a stop. While Trieste is not necessarily known for its food, there are still some things you should try, like fritto misto, which is honestly very good. Then there is also a Teresiano beer, which I found interesting because of the name and also of the taste, as well as Aperol. And while in Trieste we also had pake, which were honestly quite good. Also, if you want good Neapolitan style pizza, you should go to Pizzeria Mancini. But before ending this guide, there's one final place that I think deserves a spot on every Trieste itinerary.
Welcome to Muggia.
one of the most beautiful hidden gems right next to Trieste.
Let's explore it together.
Located even further east than Trieste, right on the Slovenian border, Muggia is the only town on the Istrian peninsula that still belongs to Italy. For centuries, it was part of the Republic of Venice, and that heritage is still visible throughout the town today. Unlike Trieste's grand Habsburg architecture, Muggia feels unmistakably Venetian. Its colorful facades, narrow alleyways, and lively piazzas reminded me much more of the classic Italian towns you imagine when thinking of the Adriatic coast. So, if you have the time, you should definitely also include Muggia on your Trieste trip. While Trieste isn't as touristy as places like Rome, Venice, or Florence, that's exactly what makes it such a special destination. It offers a completely different side of Italy, one shaped by empires, borders, and a mix of cultures you don't usually associate with the country. If you've enjoyed exploring this lesser-known side of Italy, then don't forget to subscribe to Unexplored for more hidden gems from Italy and around the world. And don't forget, never stop exploring.